I'm not the type of guy who expects fireworks or birthday parades. I'm simple. You remember the date, give me a hug, maybe a slice of cake and a cold beer. I'm good. That's it. That's really all I've ever wanted. But this year, man, this year hit different. My name's Ryan. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Born and raised. I'm 36 now. I've been married to Brittany for 7 years. She's 31, works as a dental hygienist. Real polished. Always dressed nice. White sneakers always spotless. Perfect nails. She loves brunch, mimosas, spin class, her AirPods, and posting everything she does on Instagram. I work with my hands. I'm an electrician. No filters. No small talk. Just get the job done and move on to the next call. We met at a friend's barbecue when I was 27 and she was 22. She had this fiery confidence, said I had dad energy, and that she liked that. I didn't even know what that meant, but I laughed. She smiled. I was hooked. She had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the world when she looked at you. Back then, she'd call me during lunch, leave notes in my truck, steal my hoodies and act like they were hers now. I felt like I'd won something big. But let me tell you something people don't warn you about. Love can rot if only one side keeps watering it. And that's what started happening a few years in. I kept giving. She started checking out. Little things at first. Like forgetting to pack me lunch. Not a big deal. But it was a habit she loved doing before. Then she stopped asking how my day was. She'd walk in the house, go straight to the bathroom, lock the door, come out 20 minutes later glued to her phone. If I tried to start a conversation, I'm tired. If I try to cuddle at night, it's hot. If I kissed her neck in the morning, not now. I brushed it off. Told myself she was just stressed. Dental clinics can be demanding. She always said patients were rude, that the front desk girls were fake, that she didn't get enough credit. So I listened, encouraged her, told her to stand up for herself, bought her a spa day for her birthday, took her to Dallas for a weekend, paid for everything, never once asked for anything in return. And I mean nothing. Meanwhile, my birthday rolled around every year, and nothing. No card. No gift. Sometimes she'd say, "Oh my God, I didn't even realize it was today." And she'd laugh like that made it okay. Last year, she told me she'd been planning a surprise, but her plans fell through. There was no surprise. I found a receipt in her purse from a bottomless brunch with the girls the day before. That stung, but I let it go, because I loved her. Simple as that. Now, fast forward to this year. I'm turning 36. A weird age. Not a milestone, but not nothing either. And deep down, I was hoping, just maybe she'd do something. Not even big. Just acknowledge me. That's all I wanted. But I should have known better. That morning, I got up early. Same routine. 5:15 a.m. alarm. Shower. Coffee. Made us scrambled eggs and toast like I always do. She came downstairs in her gray leggings and that oversized OU sweatshirt she always wears when she doesn't want to be touched. Sat at the table. Scrolled her phone. Didn't say a word. Nothing. I even looked her dead in the eye, smiled, and said, "Morning." She gave me a tired nod. Drank her coffee. Then stood up, grabbed her purse, and said, "I got a long day. Don't forget to take the trash out." That was it. On my damn birthday. I sat there with my eggs going cold, just staring at the front door after she left. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, it hit me. Hard. Not in a dramatic fall on the floor kind of way. It was more like a quiet snap inside. Like a string broke. I didn't even have the energy to be mad. I just felt done. The rest of the day was a blur. I went to work, commercial job site, fixing a faulty breaker box at a tire shop near 61st and Memorial. It was hot as hell, 104 degrees. I was sweating through my shirt by 9 a.m. I stayed busy, so I wouldn't think about it. My coworker, Pete, bought me a Monster and said, "Hey man, happy birthday." That was the only person who remembered. The only one. I finished around 5 p.m., stopped at Whole Foods on the way home, picked up a $9 chocolate cake from the bakery, and one of those dumb birthday cards that plays music when you open it. I don't know why. I think I just wanted something that made the day feel real. At home, the lights were off. No balloons. No post-it notes on the mirror like she used to leave years ago. Just silence. She wasn't home. Her car was gone. I called her. No answer. Texted her. No reply. I checked her Instagram. She had just posted a boomerang clinking glasses with some girls I didn't even recognize. Caption said Mojito Mondays on a Wednesday. My birthday. I just stood there in the dark kitchen, staring at my phone, hearing that stupid musical card play the happy birthday tune in the background. I didn't cry. I just kind of laughed. It was over. Not the marriage. Not officially. But something ended that night inside of me. I cut myself a small slice of cake, sat on the back porch, ate it in silence, watching the neighbor's dog bark at the wind. And right then, I swear I had this weird thought. I hope it rains. I just wanted something outside to match how I felt inside. That's when I heard a car pull up in the driveway. And that's when things took a turn I never expected. So yeah, I was sitting on the back porch, eating a slice of grocery store cake I bought for myself, in complete silence. I hadn't said a word in over an hour. Just me, a paper plate on my lap, a warm beer in my hand, and this pit in my chest that I couldn't shake. Then I heard it, the sound of a car door slamming. Not Brittany's Honda. Different engine. Softer. Slower. I turned my head and saw a familiar white Nissan pull up right in front of my house. It was Jessica, Brittany's younger sister. I'll be honest, I didn't know what the hell to expect. Jessica had always been the opposite of her sister. Down to earth, funny in a quiet way. Always asked how I was doing. She wasn't flashy or glued to her phone. She was a school teacher, 3rd grade, I think. She lived about 20 minutes away in Jenks, and I hadn't seen her in a couple months. She stepped out holding a little gift bag and a six-pack of Blue Moon. She was in jeans, sneakers, and one of those teacher hoodies that says something like, "Be kind, be brave, be you." Her hair was tied back. No makeup, just real. She walked up the porch stairs and looked at me like I'd just been hit by a car. "Ryan," she said, "you really thought I'd forget your birthday too?" I didn't even know what to say. My throat was tight. I nodded toward the empty chair next to me and mumbled, "You're the only one who remembered." She set the bag on the table, opened a beer, and handed it to me without saying anything else. We just sat there. The sky was turning purple, bugs buzzing in the yard, neighbors' porch lights flicking on one by one. After a few sips, she leaned back and sighed. "She's not coming home tonight, is she?" I shook my head. She said she was going out with the girls. Haven't heard a word since this morning. Jessica looked down at her hands. I'm not even surprised anymore. You know that. I gave her a half smile, but it felt forced. I don't even know why I expected anything different. Then, out of nowhere, she said, "You always deserve better." And that hit me hard. Way harder than it should have. Because no one had ever said that to me out loud. Not my buddies. Not her family. Not even my own. Jessica looked straight ahead, her voice quiet but sharp. "You cook for her. You work your ass off. You've been patient, even when she stopped trying years ago. I've watched her roll her eyes at you in front of people. I've heard the way she talks about you behind your back. You think I don't see it?" I didn't say a word. I just stared at the trees behind the fence. Then she said something that cracked something open inside me. She whispered, "At midnight, I'm giving you your real birthday present."
Hey guys, real quick, I hope you're enjoying the story. Don't forget to subscribe, it would really help the page. Thanks for supporting.
I looked over confused, not in a flirty way, not thinking anything inappropriate. I genuinely didn't know what she meant. Her tone wasn't seductive. It was serious. She stood up, grabbed a blanket from her car, and came back to sit closer. The kind of close where your arms brush every now and then when you shift in your seat. We sat there for another hour, talking about anything but Brittany, old movies, camping trips, bad dates from years ago. She told me about a kid in her class who drew her a birthday card, even though it wasn't her birthday. I laughed for the first time all day. It felt safe, like I didn't have to tiptoe or censor myself. Midnight rolled around. I looked at my phone. July 17th. My birthday was officially over. I said, "Well, guess I survive another one." Jessica turned to me, real calm. "You know what the present is?" I chuckled. "What, another beer?" She shook her head. "No, the gift is truth. You finally saw who she really is. No more lying to yourself. No more excuses. You're free now, Ryan. And I hope you never forget how that feels." That moment, that was it. That was when something shifted permanently inside me. Because she was right. The worst gift I could have gotten that day was hope. Hoping Brittany would change, would love me the way I loved her. But that's not what I got. What I got was the truth. The harsh, cold truth that I had wasted years loving someone who didn't love me back. I looked at Jessica and said, "Thank you." She smiled. "Don't thank me. Just don't go back to her. Promise me that." I nodded. "I won't." Then she did something that completely caught me off guard. She leaned over, gently kissed me on the cheek, and whispered, "Happy birthday, Ryan." Really? She got up, grabbed her keys, and walked to her car. Didn't wait around. Didn't linger. Just left. That was class. That was respect. That was a woman who knew I needed space, not complications. I sat outside for another 30 minutes after she left, just thinking about everything. About how dead the marriage really was. About all the times I excused her coldness as stress. About how I was only seen, really seen, when her sister looked me in the eye and reminded me I wasn't invisible. I stood up, walked back inside, and packed a bag. Just a backpack, toothbrush, a few shirts, my charger, and the cake. I slept on the couch that night. The next morning, I'd be gone before Brittany even got back. No screaming. No slamming doors. Just a man reclaiming his dignity, in silence. Looking back now, man, it's crazy how much I put up with. It's not like Brittany flipped a switch overnight. She didn't go from sweet to cold in a day. It was slow. Real slow. Like a slow leak you don't notice until the whole damn house floods. I think I was just too in love, or maybe too loyal, to call it what it really was. There were signs. Plenty of them. But I didn't want to see him. I remember the first real gut check. It was maybe a year after we got married. We had this little weekend getaway planned to Lake Eufaula. Nothing fancy. Just us, a cabin, a grill, and some peace and quiet. I've been looking forward to it for weeks. The night before we were supposed to leave, I came home from work dirty as hell. I'd been under a house running wire all day. I walked through the door and Brittany's on the phone, pacing the kitchen, laughing. She sees me and gives me that look like, "Ugh, you again." When she hangs up, I ask, "Hey, you packed yet?" She rolls her eyes and says, "I'm not going. I told you I have my friend Kara's birthday brunch this weekend." I blinked. "You serious? We planned this a month ago." She shrugged. "Yeah, well, plans change." That's when it started. That was the first time I felt like I didn't matter. Like her world didn't have a place for me anymore. I went to that cabin alone, grilled a steak, sat by the lake, and told myself she just forgot. But deep down, I knew. I just didn't want to believe it. Another time. This one was rough. We were at her parents' house for dinner. Her dad was talking about retirement, about how he wanted to move to Florida, and Brittany casually goes, "Ugh, I could never be stuck at home with a guy like Ryan all day." Her mom laughed. Her sister laughed. I just sat there, embarrassed, swallowed it with a sip of beer and laughed like it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. It was disrespect, dressed up as a joke. She had this way of putting me down with a smile on her face. She'd say stuff like, "Well, You're not exactly a handyman, even though I was literally a licensed electrician who could rewire a damn house. Or, you don't know anything about fashion. Whenever I picked out a shirt or suggested she wear that blue dress I used to love. The physical stuff changed too. She used to hold my hand in public, used to lean into me at parties, rest her head on my shoulder during movies. That all stopped around year 3. She started sitting on the other end of the couch, sleeping with a pillow between us, brushing my hand off when I touched her lower back in the kitchen. When I brought it up, carefully like walking on glass, she'd snap. You're being clingy. You always need attention. It's not all about you. So I shut up. Every time. Just bit my tongue and told myself maybe I was being too sensitive. But here's the thing. When a man starts second-guessing his own instincts, his own gut, that's how he loses himself. That's how I started losing myself. There were nights she wouldn't come home until after midnight. Said she was hanging with the girls. No texts. No calls. I'd be sitting on the couch, staring at the lock screen, waiting for that door to creak open. When I asked who she was with, she'd say, "Why? You don't trust me." That was her favorite trick, flipping it on me, making me feel like the bad guy for even asking where my wife was at midnight. She'd post pictures of cocktails and selfies with captions like "Deserve this life, nail polish sparkles," and I'd be scrolling through them while eating leftovers alone. And it wasn't just how she treated me. It was how she talked about me to other people. I remember one night, we were at a cookout at her friend Tasha's place. I was standing by the grill talking with a couple guys, and I hear Brittany behind me say, "Ugh, Ryan's idea of a date is ordering Domino's and watching YouTube videos about trucks." Everyone laughed. She laughed the loudest. I pretended not to hear it, kept flipping burgers like my stomach didn't just hit the floor. That's the thing people don't understand. Betrayal doesn't always come with cheating or lies. Sometimes it comes with slow humiliation, quiet neglect, being made to feel like a burden in your own damn marriage. And through all that, Jessica was the only one who ever asked me how I was holding up. She came over a few times when Brittany forgot to make dinner, and I'd end up heating up frozen taquitos from Costco. She'd show up with real food, baked chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, stuff that felt like home. She never crossed a line, never flirted, but she looked at me like I was a person, like I mattered. I remember one afternoon, this was maybe a year ago, I was fixing her screen door while she was visiting. Brittany was upstairs on FaceTime with some old college friend, laughing about how boring married life is. I overheard Jessica telling her, "You don't know what you have. One day you'll wake up and he'll be gone." At the time, I thought, damn, maybe she's just being protective. Now, I know she saw it coming way before I did. I saw the red flags, the signs. I felt the loneliness. I lived it. I just didn't want to face the truth, because the truth meant admitting that my marriage was dying, and that I'd been keeping it on life support with one-sided effort and false hope. But after this birthday, after that night with Jessica, sitting on the porch, hearing words I hadn't heard in years, I couldn't unsee it anymore. She never loved me the way I loved her, and I finally stopped pretending she did. Midnight hit. I was still on the porch. Same hoodie, same slice of cake half melted on a paper plate next to me. The only thing different was what was going on inside me. Something had cracked, and I mean really cracked. Not the kind of "I'm mad, let me vent" kind of crack. I'm talking about that deep, quiet shift where you stop hoping things will get better and start seeing them for what they are. Jessica was still sitting next to me, arms crossed, legs curled up under her like she'd done this a million times. We weren't saying much anymore, just sipping beer and letting the silence do the talking. It wasn't awkward. It was just heavy. That's when she leaned her head back against the chair and asked, "You still love her?" I didn't answer right away. I didn't even look at her. After a second, I said, "I think I love the version of her that used to exist. I don't know who the hell I'm married to now." Jessica nodded. "Yeah, I've been wondering that too." I looked at her. She looked tired, not sleepy, just worn down, like someone who's been holding in too much for too long. Her face wasn't made up. Her hair was messy, and somehow she looked more beautiful in that moment than Brittany ever had with all her makeup and filters. She said, "Can I tell you something?" I nodded. She took a deep breath and just let it out like a slow burn. "I've been in love with you for years." That hit me like a slap and a hug at the same time. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just stared at her, trying to process what I just heard. She kept going. "I know it's messed up. I know you're married to my sister. Believe me, I've kept my mouth shut for so long it started to feel normal. But tonight, watching you sit out here by yourself, forgotten, again, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I had to say it. You don't deserve the way she treats you. You never did." I still didn't know what to say, because part of me was shocked, but another part of me wasn't. It made sense. All those quiet glances, the way she always checked on me, the time she showed up when Brittany didn't even text. I just never connected the dots. She looked down, clearly uncomfortable now. "I'm not trying to cause anything. I'm not saying this to mess up your life. I just needed you to know that someone sees you. Like really sees you." I finally spoke. My voice came out quieter than I expected. "Jessica, I don't even know what to say. I'm not okay. I've been pretending I'm okay for so long that I don't even know what I'm feeling anymore." She reached over and grabbed my hand. Not in a sexual way. Not in a "let's run away together" way. Just real. Soft. Human. "You don't have to figure it out tonight," she said. "But just promise me you won't keep letting her break you." That was the moment I realized. This wasn't about running off with her sister. This wasn't about revenge or crossing lines. This was about truth. For the first time in years, someone saw me, not just what I provided, not just what I paid for or what I fixed. Me. I squeezed her hand once and said, "I can't do this anymore. I'm done." She didn't ask for details. She didn't cry. She didn't try to convince me of anything. She just nodded, like she'd been waiting years for me to finally wake up. I went inside after she left. I didn't sleep. I just sat at the edge of the bed staring at the wall until the sun started creeping in through the blinds. I looked over at Brittany's side of the bed. Empty. Not even a text on my phone. No happy birthday. No be home soon. Just silence. And that was all the answer I needed. Around 6 a.m., I stood up, grabbed my duffel bag, packed it properly this time. Underwear, work clothes, shaving kit, laptop. I left the house key on the counter. Took one last look at the kitchen I had remodeled for her 2 years ago. New cabinets, subway tile backsplash, farmhouse sink she picked out, but never cleaned once. Then I left. No goodbye. No drama. Just a man walking away from something that had already been dead for a long time. I drove to a buddy's place in Broken Arrow. James, a guy I've known since high school. He's divorced too. I didn't even have to explain much. He saw the look on my face when I showed up and just said, "Room's yours." I stayed there for a couple weeks while I got my head straight. Didn't tell anyone. Not even my mom. Didn't post anything. Didn't block her. Just went ghost. And guess what? She didn't even reach out. Not once. No, where are you? No, why did you leave? Nothing. That silence told me everything I needed to know. I'd been living in a one-sided marriage where I was nothing but background noise. The crazy part? I wasn't even angry. I was calm. Cold, but calm. The kind of calm you only feel when you finally made peace with walking away from something that never gave you peace to begin with. A few days later, Jessica texted me. Not asking questions. Just hoping you're okay. I responded. I'm okay now. That was it. No games. No hidden agenda. No promises. Just truth. And I swear to God, for the first time in years, I could breathe. It's been a little over 3 months since I walked out that morning. 3 months since I packed that bag, dropped the keys on the counter, and left Brittany behind, without yelling, without begging, without even saying goodbye. You want to know what the coldest revenge in the world is? Silence. Not screaming. Not blocking someone. Not burning their clothes, or going on some petty rampage. No. The coldest thing you can do to someone who took you for granted is walk away without needing them to notice. And that's exactly what I did. My new life started simple. I moved into a small studio apartment in Broken Arrow, right off Kenosha Street, above this little family-run barbershop. It's nothing fancy. One room, mattress on the floor, a tiny kitchen with squeaky cabinets, and a fridge that hums too loud. But it was mine. My job didn't change. I was still pulling wires, still doing commercial work. But my mindset, completely different. I wasn't coming home to cold silence anymore. No one rolling their eyes at me. No one making me feel like I wasn't enough. I started waking up early again, but not out of stress or obligation. Just because I wanted to. I'd go for walks before work, grab coffee from this small place called Rise Grind Cafe, where the barista already knew my name by week 2. I started reading again. Hit the gym for the first time in years. Picked up my guitar from my parents' attic. I hadn't touched that thing since college. Started writing again, just for myself. And slowly, without even realizing it, I started feeling like a man again. Brittany? Still silent. She didn't reach out. Not even once in the first 2 weeks. No, where are you? No, let's talk. She didn't call my mom. Didn't hit on my friends. Didn't even text me one of those fake check-ins like, hope you're okay. She was probably thinking I'd come crawling back like I always did. That I was just being dramatic, like she used to call me when I asked for respect. But I never did. That's when I knew I had her attention. I found out from friend of friend. She started telling people I had ghosted her. That I walked out of the marriage with no explanation. You believe that? After years of being invisible in my own home, now I was suddenly cold. Yeah, you damn right I was. Then came the first message. Almost a month after I left, on a random Wednesday night, 10:41 p.m. I just saw your truck at the old coffee spot. You're really not coming home, are you? I didn't answer. Next day, another one. I don't get it. Why are you doing this? Still nothing. She didn't get it. Of course she didn't. Because for years, she thought I'd never leave. She thought my love was some endless resource she could tap into whenever she felt like it. But I was done. The tank was empty. I filed for divorce in silence. Didn't tell her I was doing it. Hired a solid lawyer who walked me through it step by step. In Oklahoma, we didn't have any kids, so the process was pretty straightforward. No major assets to fight over. The house was in my name, paid for with my inheritance and my labor. She didn't contribute a dime to the down payment. I kept every receipt. The only thing she wanted was more time to talk. She didn't deserve it. We had years to talk. She wasted every minute. Word started spreading. Mutual friends reached out. Some fake concerned, others clearly fishing for drama. Hey man, heard you and Britt are going through stuff. You okay? I kept it short. Better than ever. Jessica checked in every once in a while. She never pushed, never flirted, never asked for anything. She just sent quiet little check-ins like, hope you're sleeping well this week. Or, the sky looked nice today. Thought of you. She didn't want anything. And that's exactly why she was the only person I let stay in my world. The coldest moment came on a random Thursday. I was walking out of Home Depot, grabbing parts for a job site, when I saw Brittany sitting in the parking lot. In her car, windows up, wearing sunglasses, arms folded. I walked right past her like she was a stranger. Didn't flinch. Didn't wave. Just kept walking. She got out, slammed the door, and called my name. I turned, calm as ever, and said, what? She looked at me like she didn't recognize who I was. This is really it? She asked. You're just gone. I looked her dead in the eye. You were gone long before I left. You just never noticed. Then I got in my truck and drove away. That was the last time I saw her. Divorce finalized 6 weeks later. She didn't contest it. Probably too embarrassed. Or maybe still in shock that the man she thought would stick around forever just vanished from her world like smoke. She tried texting a few more times. Even sent a voice message once, crying, saying she missed the old days. I never responded, because the truth is, I miss myself more than I ever missed her. And I finally had him back. These days, I'm good. I'm peaceful. I'm not dating Jessica, not officially. We've gone out for coffee, taken long drives, sat in silence, and watched the sunset from the hood of my truck. No pressure, no labels, just honesty. I told her, I don't want to be anybody's rebound. I want to be somebody's choice. She smiled and said, you already are. And Brittany? Well, I heard through the grapevine, she's been going out a lot again. Posting sad quotes, making TikToks in her car, playing the victim. Some people might say I should feel bad, that maybe I was too cold. But here's the thing they don't understand. You can only be cruel to a man who loves you for so long, before he learns to stop loving. And once that switch flips, there's no turning it back on.